Hey folks, today we are going to cook our Cajun kickin' shrimp alfredo. If you're looking for a dish to impress your friends or family, having a dinner party, you want to impress everybody that looks really expensive, looks really complicated, but it's actually quite easy to make and absolutely delicious, this is the dish you want to make. Pasta is delicious, it's filling, it's not expensive. Shrimp is delicious, it's not expensive, and it's certainly different than just your average chicken dinner. Sprinkle it with some grated Parmesan and then garnish with some chopped up Italian parsley. Your friends, your family are going to be impressed with this dish. Did I mention how awesome this is? The best part is you get to eat it.
Hello, Jackson.
Today's episode is brought to you by none other than Action
Smile.
Jackson. He's my toddler. He likes helping in the kitchen.
Say, I love you, Daddy.
I love you, Daddy.
Yeah, I really am just a dad trying to feed the family. Here's the ingredients you're going to need. Don't worry about it. I'm going to make a list in the comments below. All right, first we're going to start out with about 1 pound of shrimp. When you're buying your shrimp, you should look for fresh caught as opposed to farm raised. I have nothing against farm raised, but the fresh caught just seems to taste better to me. I'm blessed to live in Tampa, Florida, where we have our own shrimp dock, and I really should be buying local from those guys, but hey, this is what Publix had. When you buy your shrimp, you can buy it untouched. You can buy it deveined, shelled. These are uncooked. You can even buy it deveined and steamed. That's when you buy the pink ones. These are deveined but not shelled. And I'll give you a hint. The vein that they're talking about, it's not a vein. It's a digestive tract. So it runs along the back of the shrimp. And what you see here, the head's been cut off. The digestive tract has been removed, washed, etc. I don't mind peeling the shrimp to save a few bucks. And my little buddy here likes to help. So this is Action Jackson. He's going to help peel some shrimp for us. As I said before, I really am just a dad trying to feed the family. Love cooking, grew up cooking. I've been fortunate to have learned from multiple other people, some professional chefs, mostly home taught. But I do think it's important to get your kids involved if you have kids. This little guy just seems to love it, has no clue what he's doing, but he's going to get in there and get his hands dirty, and I think that is so much more important, or better for the kids. It's just more important, but so much better for the kid than watching TV or playing video games all day. All right, now we're going to season our shrimp and put some flavor on these guys. First, start off with a little bit of olive oil. That's just going to act as a binder. That's probably too much. So give that a good mix, and we're going to add some kosher salt to it. It's coarse kosher. I like that a lot better. It doesn't have the iodine in it, and Jackson likes to throw it in. Oh, this kid cracks me up. Next, we're going to add some spices to give this otherwise kind of bland shrimp some flavor. First off, we sprinkle some chili and lime seasoning in there. That'll give it some color and a good base flavor. And give that a good stir, or let the kid stir. He likes that. Next, get your favorite pan out, and we're going to cook that, or put some medium heat over it, and go ahead and throw in a couple of tabs of butter. Notice those little hands, he likes to throw things, so let him get involved. Now let your butter melt, and give that a good stir because the kid wanted to stir. Now let's go ahead and throw in our seasoned shrimp. Remember, there's some olive oil mixed in here, so that's going to mix well with the butter and create an extra layer of flavor. So shrimp just don't take long to cook. So once they turn pink, they're cooked. If you overcook them, they're going to start to turn chewy. So it's not like a piece of pork or a roast or something that you need to cook a long time. Probably about 5 minutes total. All right, be sure to give those a good stir every once in a while and flip them a couple of times. Make sure they're cooked evenly on both sides. Shrimp don't take long to cook, so total of about 5 minutes should do it. They will firm up and the shrimp will turn pink. If it's pink, it's cooked. So don't overcook it or it will be chewy, and we don't want that, of course. So go ahead and put everything in a bowl, and we will set the shrimp aside. Go ahead and take your pan off heat for the minute. We have some things to chop up. Now we're going to chop up our shallot. If you don't have a shallot, that's okay. You can use a small onion. A lot of people think that a shallot is somehow a cross between a onion and a garlic, and its flavor is kind of like that if you've not cooked with shallots. It's not much, but it's a little milder than an onion, but it comes from its own species. Its botanical name is Allium ascalonicum, and it comes from the Ashkelon region in the Middle East. I had to look that up. It's part of modern-day Israel, north of the Gaza Strip and south of Tel Aviv. But again, shallot is not somehow a cross of any other plant. It's its own plant, its own entity. So again, if you don't have one, they're a little expensive. You can substitute a small onion for it, but the flavor complex it makes your flavors so much more complex. So I do recommend spending the extra buck. Now we need to add our garlic. First, just crack it open. You can use the palm of your hand, the back of a spoon like I just did, just to get that white paper stuff off of it. We don't want that. In a perfect world, I would chop off the very hard tip of it. And a lot of people will finely chop it with a butcher's knife. I can never get it fine enough, so I like using a garlic press. I think I bought this one at IKEA. It's a very expensive tool, and it crushes the garlic, releases a lot of the oils, makes it a lot finer. I think it's worth the investment and the cleaning up of another dish just to add that extra level of flavor, extra level of complexity to your dish. Plus, it's kind of fun to squish stuff. So we got it loaded. Now help the little hands crush it, because I don't think toddlers' hands are big enough for this. And they seem to enjoy it. And then all the little squished garlic comes out the back end. You can typically shake it off or take a knife like this and just chop that off. There's still going to be some in the middle still left. Just tap that out, and you get so much flavor, so much more flavor that way. Now let's add that to our pan and turn the heat back to medium. We're going to let that saute a little bit. Notice I always cook on the back burner. It's on a smaller eye for a big pan. It would be a lot easier to cook on the front eye, but with a small child, he can easily reach the front eye, and I don't want him getting burned, or I want to reduce the chances if I'm not looking for that split second. Plus, he gets on a stool, and he can stir with a spoon anyway. So we're going to cook those down for a few minutes, and then we're going to deglaze here in just a second. Now we're going to go ahead and deglaze this with a little bit of white wine. You can use chicken broth if you like vegetable broth, but the white wine gives it a little bit of extra flavor. And don't worry if it's a concern, the alcohol boils off at 172 degrees Fahrenheit. I believe it's 78 degrees Celsius. And if you're new to cooking, deglaze, that's just a fancy word for getting all those delicious bits off the bottom of the pan. All right, now we're going to add 2 cups of heavy cream, not half and half, not milk, but heavy whipping cream. My assistant here is going to hold the measuring cup for me. He's only 2, so his motor skills are still developing. But the kid loves to be in the kitchen for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I did too at that age. The creaminess of the whipping cream really contrasts well with the heartiness of the shallot and the garlic that we already have built in. It makes a really rich, complex flavor. Now, if you're lucky enough to have an assistant, have them give that a light stir. Now we're going to kick this up a notch. Add some paprika. The paprika doesn't add a lot of flavor, but it does add a lot of color. Don't be confused with paprika and smoked paprika and other versions of it. The smoked paprika, you can really tell the smoke in it if that's what you prefer. I added some pepper here, and next we're going to add some Parmesan cheese to thicken that up. Authentic Alfredo sauce is actually nothing but butter and Parmesan mixed in. This is not authentic, but it is good. Next, we're going to add some parsley. I'm just going to cut the parsley in directly over the dish. A little bit bigger chunks. Adds a little bit of more texture to the sauce. In the meantime, go ahead and get a pot of water to boil. Add a big, heavy pinch of salt. And we're going to boil our pasta. Now we're going to go ahead and add our shrimp back to our sauce. Just let that simmer a bit. Let it soak up some of those delicious flavors. Now strain your pasta and add your pasta to the dish. Cook your fresh pasta to the instructions on the package, but it only takes about 3 minutes when you cook fresh pasta. Now, with any dish that you cook the pasta, boil it, and then you add it back to a sauce, you don't want to cook the pasta all the way because there is some carryover temperature, and you're going to cook the pasta a little bit more. So cook it 3/4 of the way, 90% of the way, and then you're going to finish it up and finish up the cooking process in your sauce. Of course, give that a good stir, and now we get to plate. So I like taking a couple of pair of tongs and grabbing a pinch, spinning it around, and then plating it in the center, and then sort of try to lift your tongs straight up without uncurling the pasta. It makes a nice presentation. Now we're just going to add our shrimp. And the way I just said shrimp, you can definitely tell I am a Southern country boy. Can't hide it. Proud of it. Wouldn't hide it if I could. So I don't know how many shrimp make up a serving, but that looks pretty good. Now we're going to spread some Parmesan over the top, which just adds so much more flavor. It's delicious. And garnish it with a little bit more of the Italian parsley. Truth is, the parsley doesn't add a lot of flavor, but it does add looks to the extra color to the dish, which plays with the mind. That makes it look that much fancier, that much better. And give it a bite. This is going to be some incredible pasta and shrimp. I guarantee you're going to love this. If you've enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I thank you for watching.